Officially NFL Combine week. The NFL Combine starts tomorrow, not the drills, but players have started coming in today. Stuff will be happening tomorrow and throughout the entire week. Exciting time for the NFL draft season, and I wanted to talk about some of the guys I think it's going to be important to watch for the combine, whether it's good, bad, not even just athleticism stuff, as we are going to talk about the first guy, and it is Jordan Tyson. It's the medicals. The medicals with his injury history, missing 48% of his college games in his career. It's a lot. A lot of different things. ACL at Colorado kept him out the whole year. Hamstring this year. Collarbone kept him out of the playoffs 2 seasons ago. It's a lot of different things, and if he comes back with bad medical reports, which we may not even find out about until NFL draft, and if he does have bad medicals, then we could be looking at him falling out of the not even just top 20, out of the first round, which is insane to say because he has top 5 talent. He is a true number 1 receiver, but with the injury history plus bad medicals, that combined is pretty bad for him. He can lose a lot of money based on this week. But if the medicals come back clear, he should still be a first round pick. He still has a chance to be a top 5 pick just based on the talent alone, but with his injury history, who knows if teams are still scared to pick him. Let's talk about Bryce Lance next. Now, a lot of these guys I got off of Bruce Feldman's Freak List, which if you don't know, Bruce Feldman from The Athletic releases a list of, I forget how many players. Just basically a ranking of the biggest athletic freaks in college football going into that season. So there's a lot of guys here on that list, and a lot of the numbers are getting on it or from it because it's the best source for the athletic numbers, and that's all grouped together. So Bryce Lance is one of these freak list guys. 40-inch vertical, 10'10" broad, with his size too. He's going to be a riser because of this combine. With the running backs, I really would love to talk about a guy like Kalen Black, a guy like Jaden Ott, who are both freak list guys, especially Jaden Ott, but they are not on the combine list, or they weren't invited to the combine, which at least for like Jaden Ott, who had 67 rushing yards the entire season and then has more than that in his Senior Bowl, you would like to see him test or be able to test to try to raise his draft stock and get it close to where it's not even going to ever get close to where we thought it could have a couple years ago at Cal, but get him drafted, which he still could be. But we do not have 2 guys who are going to be competing to be the running back too, Jadarian Price, and we'll talk about Jonah Coleman after. Jadarian Price is going to test well. I don't think he'll have the best testing, but he's going to test very well. He's not the biggest, 5'11", 210, a little less than that, a little more than that. Projected 440. If he runs in the low 4.4s, be a very successful combine. With the number 2 at Notre Dame, still came out with the opportunity to be the lead back there for when probably a lot of NIL money. So he's going to go high in this draft. He had to have reps tell him that he was going to be a high second-round pick, at least, or a mid-second-round pick. And a good combine could solidify that even more. Jonah Coleman needs a good combine. He is super strong. He's a super creative runner, but he's really lacks top-end speed. And is that like the biggest deal in the world? No. But if Jonah Coleman goes in and he runs 4.5 or even below, then he will solidify himself as running back too. And I'm very interested to see how he does in any strength test as well. Next, we'll talk about Kenyon Sadiq, who probably is the number 1 guy people are looking out for this combine. He's an athletic freak. He's being drafted not purely off his athleticism because he was fairly productive at Oregon, but he's a freak athlete. He was number 11 on the freaks list, projected 4.5 40, 6'3", 245. Super explosive, reached 20 miles per hour multiple times. For a tight end, that's pretty insane. But if he doesn't have a good combine, which I think he will, but if there's a world where Kenyon Sadiq runs below a 4.5 even, or 4.55, then we could be talking about Kenyon Sadiq going from a solidified first round pick to falling out of it. The guy I'm most excited to see this combine is Eli Stowers. He's number 15 on the freaks list. In terms of tight ends, Kenyon Sadiq's going to get all the hype going into the combine, and I think Stowers is going to have a better one. 4.57 40, 39-inch vert, 11-foot broad jump. A tight end is pretty insane, especially at his size. And in terms of RAS score, relative athletic score, which is a math rating used to judge current combines or former combines against each other. So it'll rate them in terms of percentile. So 39-inch vertical is 90 whatever percentile for tight ends. And it gives you, so like, for example, Theo Johnson, not last season, but a few seasons ago, was number 1 or 2 in terms of ends all-time combine performance. I think Eli Stowers is going to be in that, maybe even higher than that, and he will end up with the highest RAS score in the combine this season. Caden Proctor is so interesting because I feel like offensive linemen are usually, sadly, pretty boring when it comes to the combine. There's no flashy 40s or anything, flashy numbers. But he's on here for good and bad reasons. He cannot come in at 6'7" and 369 pounds. That is way too big for offensive tackles. And we have seen some of these bigger offensive tackles. They come in, they're huge, they dominate in college, and they can't keep up with NFL speed. And they can't play on an island. So he has to weigh down, not just like a little bit. He should go down to like 350. That's 350 should be the max that Caden Proctor. That's hard to do from his listed playing weight at 369. Let's say he kept that until Alabama's season ended January 1st. So what would that be? Less than 2 months to lose 19 pounds. That is a lot. So we'll see what he weighs in. But as an athlete, he was number 2 on the freaks list. And rightfully so. 32-inch vert at all again at 369 pounds. So these could be up by the time, or the vertical and broad jump, the explosive ones will probably be up by the time we get to the combine, because I do think he does lose some weight. 815 squat, 535 bench, and cleans 405. He's a long, and I've said before that I don't like how powerful he is, but in terms of strength, he's super strong. And he is a freak athlete. It's just what I care about the most, though, is the weight. He has to weigh down. Next, we're going to go with Logan Jones from Iowa. For one reason, I got to see what his vertical is. I was not aware that Logan Jones had a 36.6-inch vertical. That is higher than some NBA players. Not just some NBA players. Some NBA players we determined to be athletic. And that's a center. And then the shuttle and the 40-yard split. And also that was, I think, second all-time, the vertical for centers. I don't even know who was first. I should have probably looked that up. But the split numbers are good. The shuttle numbers, which is super important. You've seen some of the... If you look and go and look up all-time shuttle numbers, it's like Jason Kelce. It's all some of the best centers of all time have put up good numbers. So it's really important to put up a good number in that. He's projected to go, 5th round, 4th round? He can really raise his stock with a good combine. So I have Ruben Bain on here, but this is kind of a group I could have probably just put like him, Cassius Howell, whoever has arm length concerns, because these are going to be remeasured way more officially than they were, whether it was in the spring or the summer of last year. And guys like Ruben Bain and especially Cassius Howell, who he probably should have put on, important for him. These arm length tests, if their arms are way longer than we thought. Well, one, Ruben Bain, we don't even talk more with the arm length, because he will not only just be a top 10 pick no matter what his arm length is, but if it ends up being good, we're talking about him at number 2 again. And Cassius Howell, we're not into the first round, which is where I have him. He could be top 20. So it is really important for these guys. This could have just been written as arm length, but I wanted to highlight Ruben Bain for this one. Next, we got David Bailey, another Freaks List guy. He was 50 something, 4.52 projected guys at 6.50 good, 405 bench, 550 squat. I don't even know what the arm length is going to be freakishly long. That's what I'm more excited about, is to see how long his arms are. David Bailey's a freak athlete. I don't think a good combine performance would raise his stock. I'm just more curious to see what the numbers he puts up. Peter Woods needs a good combine. A down year in production in 2025. He is a freak athlete. He is number 5 on the a 4.8640, 33-inch vert, 34 reps of 225. He needs to come out here and test well because he is a really good athlete. He is a former 5-star. He needs to prove that 2025 is just a bad year, and the old Peter Woods is the guy they're going to take, the one that was projected to go first overall by some people. A lot of guys on Bruce Feldman's freak list for defensive tackle that are in this draft. That includes Peter Woods, who we just talked about, Dante Colari-Lone, Zane Durant, Dominique Orange, who I'm going to talk about. There could be more. I actually just stopped scrolling at Dominique Orange. So 6'4", 335, great size, 450 bench, 34-inch vert. He's a guy who's projected late second. Good combine could get him early second, and maybe he becomes one of those guys who becomes a surprise. Next guy up is Jermon McCoy, another guy just like Jordan Tyson, who we don't have here for any of the on-field tests. It's all just because of injuries. Torn ACL in 2025, he doesn't play. If his knee comes out good, which I think is expected fully that his knee is good, and that's really where his draft stock projection has him, then it just stays how it is. It's more that if his knee comes out bad, then Jermon McCoy can fall. And he was ready to go in November for Tennessee, so I don't expect anything to be wrong. This is more of a just in case. And now let's go to his Tennessee teammate in Colton Hood, who stepped up as the number 1 corner when McCoy goes out. It's just, what is Colton Hood going to run? I could put him or Chris Johnson, who are both in the same boat in this. What are they going to? Johnson expected to run a little bit slower, but Colton Hood, looking online, there was a huge range, a 4.43 to a 4.52, almost a 0.1 second difference. But his projected 40. If he runs a 4.43 first round, not near lock, but near lock. 4.52 Colton Hood. This is really important for Colton to be able to be a first round pick. He has to run at least in the 4.4s. Another guy who this is really, really important is Troy New York. Why? He is small. 1st percent strength and 3rd percentile in height. He is super, super small. And it's unfortunate because Troy New York, he's a super smart player. All the coaches at Texas A&M rave about how smart of a player Troy New York is, which means he'll probably go in and interview very well. It's just the size. And because of that size, smaller body means shorter strides. So he looks faster than he actually is. Projected 4.5840. He needs to test really, really well to make up for that size. Another freaks list guy is Jack Golday from Cincinnati. 4.24 shuttle, 10-foot plus broad jump, 36-inch vertical. He has good size at 6'4". He's another guy we can look at his numbers. We can look at his RAS score, and they end up being really good and raise his draft stock from around the 3rd round pick to more solidify him as a 2nd round pick. And we have one safety here because none of the safeties as good as the class are like freak athletes. So I just picked Emmanuel McNeil-Warren. Why? It's not even because of his athleticism. It's more because of his size. He's 6'3.5", 210, which was a Senior Bowl measurement. That's already been known. But if he goes and he tests really athletically, he can prove he can be athletic as the big conference, then Emmanuel McNeil-Warren first round pick can start to become more of a fun thing to talk about to a lock. So those are my 17 guys. Gonna be an exciting week. Thank you all for watching.